On AM 1130, 99.9 FM, Prescott, Chino Valley, and Paulden, 95.5 FM, Prescott Valley and Cottonwood, the talk of the Quad Cities, KQNA. It's
Hammer Time.
Waking Up with the YCCA. Hammer Time is brought to you by Lawhorn Plumbing, Arizona Modern Landscapes, JT's Septic, Granite Basin Roofing, Blind Brothers Arizona, Elan Electric, Manzanita Landscaping, Crosby Home Services, RED Plumbing, Eric & Sons, Pure Solar, and Yavapai Block. And now from the studios of KQNA, it's Hammer Time, Waking Up with the YCCA. Here's the Executive Director of the Yavapai County Contractors Association, Sandy Griffiths.
Hey everybody, good morning, and guess what?
I give.
We're still in March, Wingman Mike.
Oh, we are.
Happy
Indeed we
March,
are.
everybody. We're still rolling through March. The wind is blowing, the trees are budding. My allergies are a little bit better.
I'm a little bit concerned from the standpoint of everything.
My allergies?
No,
Oh.
related though, of everything budding out and blossoming. If we get a wet winter
it'd be gone.
storm.
Those little trees would be sad.
Lots of broken branches.
So we had a great show last weekend with JT Septic, did we not?
We did.
With Devin and Ashley?
Learned a lot.
So much so, we really need to have them back because
very
we hardly covered a septic system.
Yeah. So if people are out there and have any questions about septic systems, they're go-to people to get that information from.
Totally. Great company, good employees. They'll be at our home show April 24th, 25th, and 26th with a black 1,000-gallon septic thing.
And I'm going to threaten, just like I did last year, to maybe spend the night in there. It looks so comfy.
It does look comfy, doesn't it? So anyway, they're good people. We had a wonderful show. You can catch us on Spotify and YouTube.
Perfect.
So we've got a great show this morning. We are going to deviate a little bit from our current shows where we bring in industry partners, nonprofits, business leaders. Today we're going to talk about a small community north of Prescott that is facing a somewhat of an uphill battle. They're facing a lot of opposition from activists, and that's what our world is turning into nowadays.
But it still fits into our mode of bringing information to the public, and that's what we're here about.
And so I'm excited to do that. On a more serious note, it's going to be a great program.
Perfect. I would expect nothing less.
I would expect nothing less of you, except for you to sing, and you haven't done that yet.
I'm still waiting myself.
I have a lovely joke, but I'm going to wait until our guests join us to see if we can't get them to giggle.
Okay, well then why don't I take us to commercial?
Perfect.
It'd be my pleasure. You're listening to Hammer Time, brought to you by Yavapai County Contractors Association, and we're airing on Talk of the Quad Cities, KQNA 1130 AM, 99.9 FM, and in Cottonwood and Prescott Valley, 95.5 FM. So please stay tuned for some great messages from our ever so valuable sponsors. Don't touch that dial because we'll be right back.
You're listening to Hammer Time, Waking Up with the YCCA, a presentation of the Yavapai County Contractors Association. Once again, here's your host, Sandy Griffiths.
Hey, listeners, welcome back to Hammer Time. We had to take a little break, but now we are ready to roll.
Ready to rock and roll.
Okay, so this morning, we have two esteemed, well, really three, counting the engineer. Really four, counting you.
I was going to say.
Really five,
my
counting me. Five esteemed people in this studio. Do you agree?
Yeah, but let's go back to the two at large.
Yes,
that are,
the two at large that are here to talk about the Chino Valley Airport.
Correct.
And we have with us, and I'm totally thrilled, beyond thrilling, Mr. Tom Perkins. Hi, Tom. Welcome to Hammer Time.
Hello, Sandy. Thanks for having me.
It's just an honor to have you with Mike and me this morning to discuss what's going on with the airport, the runway, the phasing in, the flyovers, and everything else that is involved with an airport. Right, Mike? Did I forget anything?
No, except for the other gentleman.
I have not forgotten him. So you introduce our other gentleman because he's very near and dear to both of us.
He is a fellow associate of mine, so to speak. He's a fellow builder, lives in Chino Valley, and he's here as an individual. He fills a lot of different seats and wears a lot of different hats, including his company hat. But he's here as a private individual to aid in discussing this situation at hand.
Mr. Chuck Merritt, welcome, my friend.
Good morning. Thank you.
We're happy to have both of you gentlemen here to maybe shed some light on some of the misnomers.
And that's something that I'm very pleased and proud of, is that we on this show try to give absolute facts as opposed to clouding things.
Exactly.
And this is a great example of an opportunity to get those facts out to the public.
So we all know about the Perkins Ranch, Perkins Road. I mean, I've traveled on that road. So, Mr. Perkins, this ranch land, do we call it ranch land?
It is, ma'am.
Okay. How long has it been in the family?
My great-grandfather, Marion Alexander Perkins, established the ranch in 1900, so 126 years.
Holy moly, Batman.
Yes, ma'am, long time.
Long time. So is this the first maybe development concept that is taking place with the Perkins Ranch?
It's the first development for our family.
Okay.
Other than ranching, we've ranched our entire lives in Chino Valley and the area, but this is an opportunity for us to get revenue streams that'll help us ranch the rest of the land for decades to come.
You know, and Mr. Perkins, you just said something. It's not only a revenue stream to help you and your family ranch for decades to come. It's a very important revenue stream for the adorable town of Chino Valley.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. In phase one is just the infrastructure of you called it an airport, it's called an airfield.
Oh.
So the difference really, the definition, an airport would be like an airport where you have passengers and they're coming in and out. This primarily is for training. And Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University will be the lessee for this, and they'll train their students there. And then in later phases, which also have to be approved by the town council, we plan on having a business terminal, not a passenger terminal, where businessmen can come and have dinner, and the students can do their flight planning. And then we'll start building hangars and a fixed-based operator to fuel the planes in phase 2. Phase 3 and 4 will just be businesses coming, but that business terminal will be for those businessmen.
So to bring Mr. Merritt into the conversation, sir, you live in Chino Valley, correct?
That's correct.
And you are totally in support of this airfield?
I am in complete support of it. At the start of it, it's not going to be a great revenue generator for the town while the airstrip's being built. But once the airstrip is built, then phase 2 development comes in there. Then the town can start collecting some tax revenue. There'll be money collected by the town for the construction process, sales tax, permit fees, and that sort of business.
So, Mr. Perkins, when we say airfield and the phase, well, I guess the initial concept, infrastructure, how do we build an airfield?
Well, there's
Is it
architects.
easy to do?
Well, it's not an easy thing.
Okay.
And the initial investment by Embry-Riddle for the 5,000 foot could be as long as 6,000 foot. They're in phase 1. It's approved to go as long as 6,000 feet. But at 5,000 feet, the Cessna 172s can land on it. At 6,000 feet, the twin Black Diamonds can land on it, which are both trainers for Embry-Riddle. So it's not meant to be a public airfield like Prescott is, Prescott is a public airfield. It's general aviation can land there. Anybody can land there. They receive public funds. It's got an FAA tower. It's controlled airspace. This is outside of the controlled airspace, and it is a private airfield being built with private funds. There's no increase in taxes for anybody. That's been one of the misconceptions.
Heard that. Very good. Thank you.
And they were saying that the fire department, CAFMA, would raise their taxes also. That's incorrect. The Perkins and Embry-Riddle will pay for a separate contract with CAFMA, so there are no increase in anybody's taxes.
So this is a training airfield then for Embry-Riddle?
It starts out that way as just a training airfield. They'll be the only users other than visiting businessmen.
Which would be at a further phase.
Correct.
Okay.
That's a further phase. Now they'll fly in to meet with the mayor and the council to show them the plot of where they can put their business. But that would only be 50 flights per year, and those had to be authorized by the town of Chino Valley, each one.
You know, with Embry-Riddle being able to utilize that for training purposes, that also frees up a lot of the airspace and traffic at the existing airport, which as things have progressed, that's going to become busier and busier.
Absolutely, Mike. Basically, a lot of the aircraft have to wait 30 minutes on the taxiways before they can even get out of Prescott because it's so busy. Now, the Embry-Riddle aircraft are already flying in the local area. They fly to Seligman, they fly to Cottonwood, and they use the circuit, the traffic pattern at Prescott Airport. What this would do, we've worked diligently with the Planning and Zoning Committee and the council to circumnavigate all the built-up areas. A lot of people are saying they're going to fly directly over my house. That's not true. So we've worked the flight routes out to where they're not over those built-up areas, both to and from going back to Prescott.
And that's a biggie.
Absolutely, Mike. Absolutely.
From my viewpoint.
Did Embry-Riddle come to the Perkins Ranch, Mr. Perkins, and bring you this concept?
Well, this concept, Sandy, was originally between Embry-Riddle and my father back in the early 2000s when we were incorporated into the town of Chino Valley. So they incorporated about 10,000 acres of our private property into the town, and the three promises in the pre-annexation agreement was water rights, fire and police protection on the property, and an airstrip.
That was 20-some years ago.
Yes, ma'am, it was. So Dan Main was the mayor at the time, and when my father signed that agreement, he was old school, and a handshake meant something, so he thought that was it. So he started blading his airstrip, and we got a cease and desist order and then a big fight with the town of Chino Valley. I was over at the war at the time, so I wasn't involved in all this. So by the time I got back, the damage was already done. So fast forward to today, or just recently, I went to work with the town staff, the mayor and the staff, to see if there was a way we could work together. And the development staff asked if I was still interested in the airfield and building some revenue streams for the town of Chino Valley out on our east boundary. And I said I was. So we started working first with the staff, and then with planning and zoning, and then with the council through the legislative process. And we got a 5-2 vote from P&Z, and we got a 5-2 vote from the council. And we hope it goes forward, but as you said, the opposition is working hard to stop us.
So has the property, the land you have a development agreement for this acreage, correct?
They're working on the development agreement now. That has to go on each phase. So it had to be approved by the council before the development agreement is worked out between the council and our family. So between the lawyers, staff, and the council, that's what they're working on now but it has to fall in line with what's in the conditional use permit. It can't deviate from that. So it just works out the fine-tuned details of everything that happens, flights, routes, everything in detail, to not have people interfered with as much as possible.
You know, Mr. Perkins, those development agreements get kind of gnarly sometimes,
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
they?
They do. That's why so many lawyers are involved.
I know, and Emery Riddle and everybody else. But in the end, when it all comes down and you have the final development agreement, the breathing and the heart rates have slowed down, and it's a document that everybody should be so proud of.
Absolutely, Sandy. You work hard.
You do.
The areas that you may not agree on, you continue to work
Correct.
those until they get to the fine-tuned pieces that everybody can say that's a good piece of paper.
And you know, Mr. Perkins, the everybody included, your homeowners out there and the citizens in Chino Valley.
Absolutely.
If they just understood or would understand that these development agreements offer a great deal of protection for them as well.
Yes, ma'am. They do.
They are totally brought into the DA on paper.
Yes, ma'am. And the difference between the other airfields like Cottonwood is a public
Right.
airfield, and a lot of the traffic that the buildup around that airfield has happened. It sits right on 89A, and there are thousands of homes and businesses that sit right on that airport. Ours is 6.5 miles to the east on Perkinsville Road, the road you say you drive
Oh
down.
boy, that's a long road.
That's a long road. But that's on our eastern boundary of Chino Valley and the far eastern side of our private property. And there are a few buildings out there, to include the Buddhist Institute is about 1.5 miles away. Haystack Ranches is about 1.5 miles away to the northwest. And then if you go due south, Coyote Springs is about 2 to 2.5 miles, depending on where you measure from. And Paquito Valley is also about 2 to 2.5. And then by the time you get back up by Antelope Hills, it's about 3 miles. And a lot of those communities are saying that the aircraft will fly right over them.
And they're not even in
That's
the
not
town of
true.
Chino Valley. I'm sorry.
No,
I just
ma'am,
had
they
to
are
say
not.
that.
They are not, but they are the biggest ones pushing the referendum in Chino Valley. And a lot of the misinformation that's being pushed is pushed from those folks.
So we can talk about some of the misinformation when we come back from our break, listeners. We have with us Mr. Tom Perkins. We're discussing the Chino Valley Airfield.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Chuck Merritt is with us this morning, a citizen of Chino Valley, the town of Chino Valley, very much in support of this, and we will have more conversation with Mr. Merritt as well.
Perfect.
So don't move. Mr. Perkins, Chuck, me, Mike, and the engineer will be right back.
You're listening to Hammer Time, waking up with the YCCA, a presentation of the Yavapai County Contractors Association. Once again, here's your host, Sandy Griffiths.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Hammer Time, brought to you by YCCA. Our guest with us this morning, Mr. Tom Perkins. We're discussing the Chino Valley Airfield. Our citizen from Chino Valley, Mr. Chuck Merritt, my engineer, Gregory, and my wingman extraordinaire, Mr. Mike Enders, Bent Tree Custom Homes. Did I get us all covered?
I think you got everybody covered, but who are you?
I'm Sandy. Okay, you guys, what's the best type of music to listen to when you're fishing? Chuck is going to say, I don't know, I don't fish. Okay.
How did you know the answer?
I know,
to that
I got
question?
that one. Sorry. Okay, Tom. Oh, Mike is really trying to get
Something
this
to
one.
do with water.
Mr. Perkins?
There's only two kinds, country and western.
I'll vote for that.
No, something catchy.
Okay.
Oh, you get it? You're trying to catch a fish.
Oh,
Catchy music.
catchy music.
In radio business, we call it a song with a hook.
Okay, very good.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Chuck, what did you think of that?
Well, I thought the joke was marvelous.
Perfect.
I haven't recovered my breath.
It took your breath away.
It did.
Perfect. So, Mr. Perkins, we've been discussing the challenges with the Chino Valley Airfield. And I want to maybe take a little sidestep here and talk about the activism, the activists, the naysayers, the not in my backyard that we're seeing more and more of in all of our communities. And you are faced with that right now with the airfield and all of the door knockers going door to door, and they spread untruth.
That's correct, ma'am.
How do we combat that? What do you do as Tom Perkins?
Well, what I'm doing right now is trying to get out the truth, the real numbers, the real facts. And I've done a couple of podcasts and radio shows, to include yours, thank you, to try to get the word out to people, because I'm not going to go door to door and invade people's lives and space and try to tell them the real numbers. What I do encourage them to do is to try to find out the real information. On the town's website, all of our town council meetings where I gave the actual numbers and the PowerPoint briefs are all available to them to watch or listen to on their archives. Additionally, they can contact me directly at thomas@PerkinsRanchAirfield.com. It's just an email site, so they can email me there, and I'll try to respond to everybody, as long as they're asking nice questions, not throwing venom and vitriol
totally
at me.
get it. So what are some of the biggest exaggerations taking place out there with this the spreading of the non-truth?
Usually what they're doing is conflating numbers. They'll talk about a maneuver, and the airfield is authorized 80,000 maneuvers, but they'll change that term into flights. So they'll say that there's 80,000 aircraft over Chino Valley. The same amount of aircraft are still out training, the ones that they see currently, but these, what we're trying to do is circumnavigate the built-up areas in town and bring them over to the touch-and-go airfield, and then route them around the communities to the south to get them back to Prescott Airport. They're not staying at the airfield. They'll go back to Prescott.
So then the folks in Prescott should be thrilled.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we're reducing some of their air
over subdivision flights.
Correct. And we're bringing them out to a developed, soon-to-be developed airfield in Chino Valley, which has been totally removed from any housing tops, rooftops.
I wouldn't say it's totally removed. There are
Okay.
a few places out there. If you look at distances away, Haystack Ranches are about a mile and a half to the northwest. The Buddhist Institute is to the north of the airfield, on about northeast of the airfield, about a mile and a half.
Now, I've heard that they have no problems whatsoever, and they are welcoming the airfield.
No, I wouldn't say that at all.
Oh, so the Buddhist Institute has
They're
some challenges?
pretty quiet, but I have talked to the director, and there's two nice ladies that are up
Okay.
there. And we've had very nice conversations. We don't agree on everything, but what I've tried to do, not only with the Buddhist Institute, but with the other communities, is try to work the aircraft to a place where they're not overflying the communities, and push them back to Prescott after they're done with their training.
And I think from information I read, and you can correct me if this is not correct, but the Buddhist temple is more concerned not necessarily about safety, but just the noise, and
Yes.
they're used to the tranquility.
Yeah, and Chuck, you can step in on this. He knows the people real well, so.
So the Buddhist Institute's been out there for, I think, a little over 30 years, and they have had absolute peace and quiet for most of that time. The Razor four-wheelers have raised some noise levels out there, and some of the cattle facilities that are close by to the camp, but they have enjoyed just basically absolute peace and quiet out there, which is part of their attraction as a Buddhist Institute. And so any noise that occurs out there that is beyond what they're used to is going to be disturbing to them. And I think that everybody is quite aware of that, and as far as I can tell, there's been as much effort extended to keep the noise level as quiet as possible and still have an airfield out there. There will be more noise, that is true, but it's from their standpoint, it's egregious just because it's any noise, but from anybody that lives close to the Prescott Airport, it will not be anything that they would probably even take notice of.
We have noise that surrounds us 24/7 almost.
Absolutely. And again, it's all personal perspective.
It is.
But the subdivision that I happen to live in and happen to serve on their board of directors, we had a gentleman indicate in one of our meetings that he didn't want Embry-Riddle flying over our subdivision, and could we do something about that? Well, we're not even in the flight path of Embry-Riddle. It's just an occasional aircraft that would fly over.
Right.
And so there's a lot of pin the tail on the donkey, if you will, that, boy, it's got to be those guys. It's got to be.
And a lot of
egregious.
people think that they own the airspace above their house.
Right.
The airspace is national airspace. It's not Yavapai County's airspace. It's not Arizona State's airspace. Definitely not the Perkins airspace. So it is federal airspace, and they control where the planes will go. And a lot of people in the communities in Yavapai County unincorporated are on the final extended downwind for landing at Prescott Airport. And Prescott continues to grow, and they've got commercial aircraft that fly over those. What we're trying to do is circumnavigate that so that we don't overfly those communities and take away some of the noise that they're complaining about now.
You know, Tom, you had mentioned earlier about some of the misnomers that are out there. Put it into quantifiable terms, if you will, about how many aircraft might be operating off your area out there per day.
Thanks for that question, Mike. Exactly. A lot of people are saying just crazy numbers. There'll be 80,000 aircraft flying over Chino Valley. There's not enough aircraft in Arizona to put 80,000 aircraft out there. The aircraft that will work at this airfield will be between 10 and 18 per day. That's average.
10 to 18 per day.
And some days there will be 0 because of either weather or winds, and the aircraft can't fly, or holidays.
So, Sandy, how do we get to 80?
Mike, I don't know. Somebody's math is
Yeah,
off.
I think there's some noses
It's
that
called
might be
fuzzy
growing.
math.
That's the fuzzy math.
Yes. Listeners, we have to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Mr. Perkins, Mr. Merritt, Mr. Mike Enders, engineer, and me.
Perfect.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to Hammer Time, waking up with the YCCA, a presentation of the Yavapai County Contractors Association. Once again, here's your host, Sandy Griffiths.
Hey, everybody, guess what? The engineer just cleared us for takeoff on Hammer Time. I cannot believe you didn't think of something like that earlier.
That is the first time I've ever heard him say that. You are cleared to go.
We are cleared for takeoff. With us in the studio, Mr. Tom Perkins, Perkins Ranch. We're talking about the Chino Valley Airfield. I love that I'm calling it an airfield now.
Yes, ma'am.
How did I know? An airport, an airfield? I really want to talk, Mr. Perkins, about another over-exaggeration. What's happening out there when people really don't know the truth. Let's talk about the number of planes flying at night, the hours, and what types of aircraft. Because I think some of these aircraft are pretty quiet, aren't they?
Yes, ma'am. They're Cessna 172s, which is just a tiny trainer. And later on, the Diamonds, which is a twin, but it's also a tiny aircraft. They're not jets. They're not 747s. Or they're not military. They're just small trainers.
Now, I had heard, I think it was on one of the P&Z meetings, where somebody brought up a topic or a point to put some sort of quiet. What do you call those?
Mufflers.
Mufflers, thank you, on an airplane.
And the aircraft from Embry-Riddle, they rotate their aircraft every 3 years. Some of the opposition are saying, well, sometimes he says 3, sometimes he says 4. At the end of their 3rd year, they sell those planes off and buy brand new ones. So they're buying the latest in technology. They're much quieter than the older planes. And another issue that they keep bringing up is leaded fuel. They are recip engines. They're not jet engines. So they use 100 LL, which is what all general aviation aircraft use that are not jets. So
we're not breathing in toxic air fumes.
Well, that's what they're saying. They're saying
perfect.
that there's lead falling from the skies. I think if that was true, all the golfers around Prescott Regional Airfield would probably be dead now.
Yep. I think you're right.
So the government, our federal government, has a program called the EAGLE program, and I don't know what that acronym means, but they're phasing out all leaded fuel, going to unleaded by the year the goal is by 2030. So we've only got a few years down the road that any leaded fuel will be used, and then that'll be gone too. So it's an argument, I guess, if you want to say that, but only for a couple of years, and then that'll be gone also.
How about the number of flights where they're supposed to touch and go until, 11:30 at night?
Well,
Or the
Go ahead, Mike.
window?
No, I was just going to say that's one of the things we need to
Right.
clarify is the timetables
Yes.
of when the airstrip would be open.
yeah, it's open. The open hours are from 5:30 in the morning until 11 o'clock at night. But a lot of the opposition scream that there will be planes flying every 90 seconds during that time period. That's absolutely untrue.
You can't. You will only have 18 aircraft.
That's correct.
And of those 18 aircraft, as far as night after dark flying, how many of those 18 will all 18 be flying after dark?
Oh, no. No, the majority of the aircraft will fly late morning and the early part of the afternoon. That's where you'll see the planes, if you see them at all. They're a long ways off. So even from Prescott Valley north, you'd have to use binoculars to see those aircraft 2.5 miles away. So, no, the reason they fly at night is because pilots have to fly at night. Sometimes sun goes down or you get trapped out before sundown, and you need to be able to land. So there's currency requirements. So a very minimal 0 to 5% will be flying in that early morning period, and 0 to 5% will fly during that late period. Everything else will be flown in the daytime.
So on 18 aircraft, 10% would be 1.8. So 5% would be 0.9, which means maybe one aircraft in the early morning hours and maybe one aircraft on average in the evening. And there, dare I say that there will be nights and early mornings when there
Without
won't be anybody.
zero.
Many, and that's why the zero is in there, 0 to 5%. Most of the time, that'll be zero. But they want to conflate the numbers and make it sound like everybody's going to be awake all morning and all night because of all these aircraft. Your math is spot on, Mike.
He's a mathematician. He loves math, Mr.
He
Perkins.
certainly is, Sandy.
The guy makes me crazy. I want to give him my
Well,
checkbook, and he refuses.
It's those builders. Chuck is probably the same way.
No,
They run the
no,
numbers
Chuck is
all the
not as
time.
bad as Mike is with math.
Well, he's as good as I am by all stretches. He's just not as boisterous about it.
That's-
My little brother Danny is a builder also with Aspen Homes, and he's the same way. He's full of numbers in his head.
Part
With
of our
our
DNA.
Aspen Homes here?
Yes.
With our Mark Van Warmer?
With Mark Van Warmer.
I love Aspen Homes.
In fact, Mark Van Warmer's grandmother was
Yes.
my mom's best friend in
Oh
school.
my gosh.
Yes.
Small
Renee is
music.
her name, Renee Van Warmer, and she was my mom's best friend.
I'll be darned.
I love Aspen Valley Homes and Mark and the team.
Absolutely.
They're just-
I went to school with Nancy. We went to Chino
Yes.
Valley from kindergarten through 9th grade and then went to high school together.
Love Nancy.
Nancy and I were best friends in school, still are.
Amazing. Okay, we have to cool our jets. Oh, was that not
Nice.
amazing?
There is no jets going down.
No jets, Sandy.
Okay, we have to cool our Cessnas.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to Hammer Time, waking up with the YCCA, a presentation of the Yavapai County Contractors Association. Once again, here's your host, Sandy Griffiths.
Okay, so what's another air? We're getting ready for takeoff.
Other terminology?
Prepare for takeoff.
Prepare for takeoff. Put your seatbelts on. Mr. Tom Perkins is with us this morning, and we are discussing, with all seriousness, I know we've had some laughs, but with all seriousness, the airfield taking place at Chino Valley. Do you feel, Mr. Perkins, that it will go to referendum?
I don't know, Sandy. I don't know how many signatures they've collected. I'll know at the end of this is at the 24th of this month.
Gotcha.
So the 24th is their deadline, and then they have to turn in their signatures, and then the lawyers all get involved.
Right.
And so I'm trying to stay out of that process other than trying to get out the truth.
Let me ask you a question. When this information, as we say, the truth really comes out, if people have, for lack of a better word, been duped into or given misaccurate information and have signed the petitions, and then they find out, gosh, that's really not what I was told, can they get their names removed from the referendum?
They sure can, Mike. They need to go to City Hall in the town of Chino Valley and see the town clerk or the town manager, give them their full information, and when the signatures are turned in, then the clerk will go through that and remove their name from the list.
Super.
And I challenge people to get the right information, and if you feel duped, as Mike says, please go see the town clerk and get your name removed.
Super. I was not aware that you could have your name removed, so that's great information.
You know, and we, again, with the activism taking place in the opposition, they're not told the truth. They're given half-truths, and they sign, and that is good that they can have their name removed.
And I would like to think that some of the people that are going door to door aren't really aware of the facts themselves. They've been given a one-sided information and then say, we really need your help. Please help us. And they themselves may not really understand how fictitious the information is that they're passing out.
So, Mr. Merritt, living in Chino Valley and a supporter of the airfield, what would you like to say to our listeners? Because you are on the supportive side.
So for me, this airfield presents a great opportunity for the town of Chino Valley to create some more revenue, to help fix our roads, and to keep town infrastructure at least maintained.
Are we going to pave Perkins Road?
That will happen as soon as the revenue starts flowing. But yes, we hope to pave it at least out to the town boundary, not all the way to Perkinsville.
Okay. Thank you, Chuck. Sorry.
So for me, if you take a look at an overhead view of the town of Chino Valley, the airstrip is placed in the most remote part of town that's in the city limits. There is no developed buildings underneath or around it, closer than 1.5 miles away. You couldn't have picked a better place to put it to be out of the sight and mind of the people that live in Chino Valley. I can't really understand why somebody living in Chino Valley wouldn't be for this. It uses no town resources. It doesn't require any town infrastructure. It basically is standalone at no expense to the town, and then when it gets further developed, the town will be able to collect sales tax off of fuel sales, business development, that sort of thing. And it does not directly negatively impact any person that lives in the city limits of the town of Chino Valley. Another thing is there's a lot of outside folks that are putting their nose in the business of the citizens of Chino Valley to suit their own ends. And I just think that the citizens that live in the town limits have an obligation to educate themselves as much as possible to get the correct facts, not the numbers that have been blown completely out of proportion and switching terminologies. Again, 18 aircraft a day flying in a remote part of the town of Chino Valley and affecting nobody that actually lives in the city limits of the town of Chino Valley directly. To me, it just seems to be a lot of outside influence looking out for themselves and not for the town. And do these folks even shop or do business in the town of Chino Valley?
Well said, Mr.
point.
Merritt. Appreciate it very much.
Excellent.
So, Mr. Perkins, you're leaving town, and when will you be back?
Well, I'm going to stay in town right now. I have
perfect.
I have a business. It's called Desert Hawk Aviation. It's a training business, and we train foreign students that buy military aircraft here in the United States. So I'm going over to Jordan, but you know what's going on overseas right now.
Yes.
So there's a no-fly to Jordan, so I can't go over and train the students now, which gives me a chance to stay here
So then
and
we
get us
can
through
have you
this.
back on the radio
Oh, I'd love
again.
to. This has been
Perfect.
fun.
But I'm going to interrupt for a second because you were kind enough to give out your contact information email-wise. Could you do that one more time? Because I think there's probably some people out
Good
there
point,
would like to
Mike.
get some more facts.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It's Thomas at the @ symbol, Perkins Ranch Airfield.com.
Perfect.
I just cannot say enough to our listeners, to you, Mr. Merritt, to you, Mr. Perkins, and Gunner, the dog that's with us. This has been totally enjoyable, very educational, and I hope enlightening to some of our listeners about the positiveness of this airfield that needs to come forward for the town of Chino Valley and our surrounding areas.
Thank
it
you.
needs to.
Thank you, Sandy.
And the benefit to the citizens of Prescott.
You're right. Absolutely right, Mike. So until next weekend, I'm Sandy.
I'm Mike.
Oh, we get to keep going.
And you duped me into
I
it.
duped you into it. You didn't stop me.
They call that a go-round.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna say,
go
let's do that by
around.
go
Let's
around.
go around again.
Abort landing.
Abort my landing. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Hammer Time, waking up with the YCCA, a presentation of the Yavapai County Contractors Association. Once again, here's your host, Sandy Griffiths.
We have a minute and 30 seconds. We are back on air. The
Make it
engines
work.
are running. Make it work, Mr. Perkins. It's up to you.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to say that our ranch, we love being ranchers. We've done it for 126 years, and we want to continue that legacy. This project is very controlled development, and it's only 390 acres out of nearly 10,000 acres in Chino. So the people that continue to say, not in my backyard, your backyard is actually our ranch. And if you want to keep this pristine beauty, help us with this project. Get on board with us and build it, and that will give us the opportunity to ranch the rest of that acreage.
Good point.
Good point.
So what do you ranch?
Cattle.
Okay. Very cool.
Herefords or
They're Brayfords.
Brayfords.
So Brahma Hereford Cross.
Okay, how many?
They run. My nephew Shane Perkins is the manager, and he runs about 400 mama
That's a
cows.
lot. That's a lot of cows. Okay, until next weekend, I'm Sandy.
I'm Mike.
Chuck Merritt.
Tom Perkins.
You guys, it was delightful having you with Mike and me and the engineer. You're a wealth. Oh, no, Mike likes to say you're a plethora of information. We'll be back. Mr. Perkins, you're amazing.
Thank you, Sandy. You too.
Thank you for tuning in to Hammer Time, waking up with the YCCA, a presentation of the Yavapai County Contractors Association. Heard each and every Saturday morning at 7, with an encore presentation Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 1130 by 99.9 FM in Prescott, 95.5 FM, Prescott Valley and Cottonwood, and online at kqna.com. A library of past Hammer Time shows can be listened to on the Yavapai County Contractors website at ycca.org.
Break it down.